Hello everyone, it's Shelby here. Welcome back to my channel. It is really early when I'm filming this. For whatever reason, my body decided that we were going to be wide awake like really early this morning when I didn't need to. I don't have to work today until noon. And here we are, it's already 8, I'm filming. I also stayed up till midnight last night. So I'm going to be feeling this tomorrow. But I wanted to talk about some of the fantastic fantasy romance books that I've read this year. Although I do have one book that I read like last year, but it still needs to be talked about because I just feel like it's a very underhyped story. And fantasy romance is huge. It's huge and it's going to be huge, but I don't read a ton of the hyped fantasy romances, the super popular fantasy romances. I have some, like this book. I still haven't read this one, so who knows if this is a great fantasy romance, but I got this because of the hype and because of the straight edges. So, once I read it, if it's really good, there'll be another fantasy romance recommendation video for you all at some point. But I wanted to just highlight some of the ones that I've read this year. Most of these I honestly feel like are pretty underhyped, and I just wanted to shed light on them. So if you're looking for something different, there's several books on here that are by BIPOC authors. So if you're wanting to try to diversify your fantasy romance that you're reading, there might be some good picks in this list. But before we get into it, please make sure if you like this video that you are hitting that thumbs up button and also subscribing if you haven't already. I post videos every Thursday and Sunday, and I love that you all are here with me every week watching my videos. I appreciate it so much to helping me grow as a booktuber here on YouTube. I just get to talk about books with all of you all, and that's just like the dream, really, honestly. Okay, so first up, the book that I actually read, or books, I should say, that I've actually read last year, but they're still so good and still so relevant. That's going to be the Divine Between series by Jess Wisecup, and honestly, this is one of the most beautiful fantasy romances that I've ever read. I will say, just fair warning, this series is not complete. There is going to be a 4th book. I'm hoping it comes out in 2026, but Jess Wisecup has not made any official announcements for that. And book 3 does end on a horrible cliffhanger. So just keep that in mind if you decide to pick this series up. This one, our first book, is about and it's like basically a second chance romance. Our female main character, her daughter has been kidnapped. And so she needs the help of the crown prince, who is her former love, to help her go on this journey to find her missing daughter. And her missing daughter, she believes, is potentially the like beloved. And it's this person who is so revered in this world, has these like amazing powers, and they're thinking that she was taken because of this and she could potentially come to harm because of this. So these two former lovers go on this journey together, and it is so good, like so good. I am not somebody, I don't really like second chance romances, but this one, our female main character is plus size. They're both older because her daughter is a teenager. So I think they're both in their, it's like either late 30s or early 40s. So it's so good. You have to read it. Then we have The Starlight Heir by Amelie Howard. This was actually the first book that I read this year, funnily enough. This one, I believe this one is a standalone. Maybe. Our female main character, she's a blacksmith, and she gets invited to the castle to potentially become the prince's wife. There's several other women that have come and to try to vie for his heart. And when she gets to the castle, she realizes that all of these women are going to be thrown in a trial, and are going to have to fight to the death in order to become his bride. During these trials, she has some magical powers manifest that she was not aware of. And you find out that the whole reason this trial was put together in the beginning, or to begin with, is because he was searching for her specifically and her specific powers to control her and have those powers for himself. So then she meets the brother's half brother. He's like a bastard son of the king, who takes her away from this Castleness situation so that she can try to like learn more about her powers and get control over her own powers. And this one was just so unique and it was so good. It is based off of, I think it was like Indian and or Middle Eastern mythology. So I found that to be really fascinating. It was really quick paced. It kept my attention. Again, I believe this is a standalone. So what more can you want with that? Don't have to pick up a really long series. It was fantastic. Then if you're wanting something a little bit more on the darker side, if you like monster romances, then I have Untethering Dark by Desiree M. Nicolai. This is another standalone. This one, I believe this one is only in ebook format. I do not believe it has a physical copy. So again, that's another thing just to kind of keep in mind. This one is about our female main character. She is a hag in training. And she lives on her own in the forest, has her little hut, and every night she puts out these offerings to the forest god so that the forest god will not come and eat her. So lots of people, hikers and campers that go into this forest, if they are not careful or if they harm anything in the forest god comes and seeks retribution for it and eats them. So one day there are these pesky humans that screw up her offering to the forest god, and so he comes to get her. But she finds, miraculously enough, that he doesn't actually want to eat her. He wants to eat her, if you know what I mean. And this one was just, it was so good. Both of these characters are morally gray, and they own that. She loves being a hag, and that's what she wants. And this is, if you like witchy books, if you like Wicca and you're into all of that, you might really like this one because it is a big ode to nature and the forest. There are some weird killings and murders that are happening in the forest that is harming the forest. So these two characters are working together along with some forest rangers to try to figure out what is going on in the forest and to protect the forest and nature. And it was so good. It has those touch her and die vibes, but they also touch him and die vibes because she's got powers on her own. She can hold her own against this brutal forest god. And it's so spicy. It's dark. There is a little bit of gore in this one. It was so good. I ate this one up. Then we have Aurora's Angel by Emily Noon. This one is a sapphic fantasy romance. We have one of our female main characters. She is a shifter, and she is just very weary and tired and wanting to finally go off on her own and be by herself. She has been traveling for many years to try to seek and find all of the people that were in on murdering her father. So she has maybe one last person to kill, or she just finished her last kill, and she comes across this area where shifters and people are being held in cages and experimented on. So she's trying to help them, and she comes across this avian woman. So an avian is somebody that has wings. Avians have historically not been the greatest towards shifters. Many of them have sold out shifters to places like this. So she's wary of helping this avian, but she knows that she can't just leave this girl on her own to fend for herself. So they go on this journey together. She helps release her, but this avian has no clue how to survive on her own and doesn't know how to get back to her home. So our shifter female decides that she's going to help her, and they journey together to bring our avian female back to her home. And of course, this strikes up, there's forced proximity with these characters. They strike up a little bit of a friendship of sorts that slowly blooms into a romance and reverence for one another. And this one was just, it's another standalone. So as somebody that can't finish a series to save my life, oh my goodness, standalones are really what I love in fantasy romances. I don't want to pick up another really long series. So it's a standalone. You can read it by itself. It has great character development with it. The romance was so precious. This one was fantastic. Then we have Living Legend by Ali Shante, and this one, I feel like an argument could be made for this being like more of a paranormal romance. This one, it's labeled more as like an urban fantasy. So there are some elements that happen here in like modern day, but the vast majority of it takes place in this fantastical world. This is a story between angels and demons, and a demon somehow breaks through the gates of the angel realm. And so the angels and the demons decide they need to work together to figure out how this happened, what's going on. So our female main character is a demon, and she's kind of like just under Lilith in hell. And our male main character is an angel, and they are tasked with working together to figure out what happened and what they can do to fix this problem. Of course, they have the hots for one another. It's so fantastic. Now, this one is actually a trilogy. I have not finished this trilogy. The first book is the only book that I have read so far, but the spice was fantastic. It's got that enemies to lovers kind of vibe to it, and I'm so excited to finish this one. I have the second book on my TBR for November, so hopefully I can actually get to it and make progress towards finishing this series. Then we have Halfling by S.C. Wendell. So this one is another monster romance, but this one is a little bit more on the cozier side, sort of. I mean, there are a little bit of darker things that happen in this one, but it's so freaking cute. This one is our female main character. She gets kidnapped by traders, and she is dumped in an orc camp to potentially become a sex slave in this orc camp. Our male main character, he is a halfling, so he is half orc, half human, and he watched this happen. This happened basically to his mother. And so he doesn't want the same thing to happen to this human female. And so he devises a plan to get her out of the camp. But then she doesn't know how, kind of like with the sapphic romance, she doesn't know how to get back to her home. So they are traveling together. He vows to guide her and keep her safe on their journey to get her back to her home. And on their journey, they become friends. They both have the hots for one another. He realizes that she is his mate, but he is a consent king. He is such a cinnamon roll. He doesn't want to do anything to make her scared. He doesn't want to push her towards anything. So it takes a little bit before anything to happen between these two characters, because she has to make the first move basically on him. And it's just, oh, it's so good. It's like a slow burn to high heat romance, because like I said, it takes a little bit for them to realize they both have the hots for one another and want to be together. But then once they do, and once they confess it, is spicy. It is so spicy, and it's so good. Such a sweet romance. I also read book 2 here recently, Ironling. Highly recommend that one as well. It's also very sweet. I'm loving this series. I'm definitely planning on continuing it. I believe there are 4 books in this series, which maybe more. I think there's one that's going to be coming out that's like just like short stories. Very curious about it. Whatever comes out in this series, I'm probably going to read it, because I've loved the first 2 books in this series. Then, of course, I have to talk about Duskwalker Bride series. A Soul to Keep is the first one. I am another series that I have not finished. There are 8 books in this series. It's a longer one. And I'm slowly making my way through it. I will get there, I promise. I just finished the 3rd one not long ago. I'm going to be moving on to the 4th one. So this is another one. If you like monster romances, you'll probably like this one. It's a bit on the darker side, and the monster is very monstrous. So definitely not for the faint of heart by any means. But this first book, it sets up the series so well. We have our female main character, and she's been ostracized because her town thinks that she is a bad omen. And every so often, there is a Duskwalker that comes to town that wants a human to come with him back to the Vale where all the monsters and demons are from, in order for him to give them some different like protections against demons. And so this year the town has elected her to be the person that goes with him. And so she goes with this Duskwalker back into the Vale and finds that he actually has this cabin that he's made. And he really is just wanting a companion because he's lonely. And it's so cute. I know that's so strange for me to say that again with this very dark and monstrous creature, but he is adorable. He's so cute. Oh, very spicy in here. Very spicy, very unique spice. We'll say that. But so good. I'm thoroughly enjoying this series. Like I said, I should be starting book 4 very soon. And then Blood and Brujas by Michaela D. Hornado. This is another one if you're wanting something a little bit different. The romance in this one is not as prevalent. It's more just this like fantasy world. So our female main character in this one, she is a warrior Bruja princess. Her people are the Brujas, and they have been at war against the vampires for so long. And her mother, who is basically the queen, decides that they need to stop this war. There's been enough bloodshed. So she is supposed to get married to the vampire king. She hates this plan. Absolutely hates this plan. Loathes this man. Thinks that all the vampires are very stuck up. But she's going along with it because this is what her mother has told her to do. And she agrees that there's been enough bloodshed between her peoples and does not want more Brujas to die in this battle. So this will be a longer series, but this story arc ends in book 2. So it's basically a duet. And then when book 3 comes out, it's supposed to be a completely different story arc, but it takes place in the same world. So book 2 is out. I have not read it yet. Another one I'm planning to get to this year. There's just lots of twists and turns in this one. This will end up in an FFM relationship. Our female main character is bisexual, and she's very proud of that. But who she will end up with, you don't really know yet. But it's very good. It does get a bit spicy. I'm very curious how things are going to be. There's lots of like intrigue and a lot of things going on in this one. There's also shifters in here. So all the different paranormal, fantastical creatures are present in this story. So it's great. And then the last one that I have to talk about is Our Vicious Oaths by N.E. Davenport. This one just released. I am unsure if this is going to turn into a series. It seemed completely fine to be read as a standalone. And even if this wasn't a great book, I would encourage you to go out and try this book out, buy it, because the author just recently, like I said, this book released 1 or 2 weeks ago, and her husband tragically passed away not long after it was released. So N.E. Davenport is going through such a tragedy right now. I think it would be amazing to just the bookish community to come together to help support this author. But it is also a fantastic book. This is Black Fae romantasy kind of story. Our female main character is a princess of one Fae kingdom, and she is betrothed to the king of another Fae kingdom. She does not like that she's betrothed to him because she knows as soon as she gets married that she is just supposed to be this like meek, docile kind of person. She's going to lose her autonomy and she's just going to have to do whatever her husband says. And she hates this because she is another warrior princess. She has this band of women that ride. They're not called dragons, but they're basically like dragon creatures, which is super badass and awesome. But she decides that she's going to have a fun one-night stand right before her wedding, and she meets this other Fae male that is quite sexy. She has quite a good time with him. And then on her wedding day, finds out that this male that she slept with is from another Fae kingdom that has been warring against them. He is on a mission to kill all of the rulers of all the other Fae kingdoms because they all conspired together to murder his parents. That is how he became the king of his kingdom. So he ends up, there's this battle at her wedding. I can't remember if he or somebody else ends up murdering her father. Not a great start here, guys. And then he takes her with him to his kingdom to use kind of as like a bargaining chip against her betrothed, to get her back, because her betrothed wants her, and many people in the Fae community wants her because there's a prophecy that has been prophesized, whatever, about her, that she will birth an heir that will bring all of the kingdoms together, and that she will become the High Fae Queen. So all of these males want to be with her so that they can have that power for themselves. Again, she doesn't really like her betrothed, but she also doesn't like this male that kidnapped her and murdered her father. But she's trying to figure out what is going to be best for her and for her people. So we definitely have hate to love in here, enemies to lovers, but she can't help but be so drawn to the male that took her away, that she had this one night stand with. They definitely have sparks flying between them. It was very spicy and it's so good. This one I am not the biggest fan of like court politics and fantasy romances, but if you really enjoy that, you would definitely like this one because that was very prevalent in this one. There's lots of different like political maneuvers going on. Some of that just, sometimes it kind of loses me, but nevertheless, this was still a fantastic fantasy romance and I highly recommend you check it out. So that is going to be it for my list of fantasy romances to recommend for you all. If you have a favorite fantasy romance, please leave a comment down below so that we all can check it out and find more fantasy romances to read. If you like this video, again, hit the thumbs up button, hit all the buttons, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.